Now, as you can see, the towers stick out quite a long way, so this means that the archers can fire their arrows right along the wall. So the problem is, if the attacker gets inside the castle, he's trapped. Nowhere to hide.
To get an idea of just how good the tower's defences are, it's best to come up on the walls. There's a walkway up here which takes you all the way round the tower on the battlements. And from up here, it's easy to imagine what the tower must have been like in the Middle Ages. There would have been sentries all along here and on the towers, all of them alert for any attackers. And when you're up here, you'll notice that this inner wall is quite a bit higher than the outer wall over there. Now, of course, there's a reason for this. Can you guess what it is?
Well, again, it's all to do with defence. Now, just imagine, the castle has been attacked, and the enemy have got up the wall, they've come over the top, and now they're here on the outside wall. So, what are you going to do now? How are you going to fight them off?
Easy. With this high inner wall, your archers up here would have been able to shoot down on the attackers on the outer wall. They would have been unprotected from behind, and your men would have the advantage of being higher up.
Right, I give up. Just making a friendly visit.
So, with its moat and 2 stone walls with their towers, the Tower of London would have been much, much harder to attack than in Norman times. And it would have had to be, because during the Middle Ages, methods of warfare became more and more advanced, with castles being attacked by siege engines, huge wooden machines that hurled great lumps of rock. Luckily, the Tower of London was never attacked in this way. And that's one of the reasons that these walls are still standing after 700 years.
Whilst we're on the battlements, we might as well have a look inside one of the towers up here. Now, this one's called the Broad Arrow Tower. Have a look in here. Now, this is the sort of place a knight would have lived in. It's not very big, but it's really rather comfortable and cosy, isn't it? Somewhere to keep all his clothes, he's got his own fireplace, and next door, he's even got his own personal guardrobe. So, this is the room of a very important person, not just an ordinary soldier.
Well, if that was where a nobleman would have lived, what about the king himself? Where would his home be? In the White Tower?
No, not any longer. The Norman kings, when they were in London, did live in the White Tower, but in fact the records tell us they spent most of their time living in France, in Normandy. But later on, the kings in the Middle Ages spent much more time in London, and they decided they wanted to be really comfortable and they wanted a bit more privacy. So they moved out of the White Tower and they built themselves a palace safely inside the castle walls.
The palace was built here, right in front of the White Tower. Now, unfortunately, most of it's been knocked down, but we can see from this model that it was built up down this side here, buildings down there, and right in the middle, in the pride of place, was this great hall.
Well, nowadays, there's hardly a trace of the Great Hall, but have a look at this. Big hole in the ground down here. Now, what do you think this might be? Could this be a clue as to where the kitchens used to be?
Most of the palace has been knocked down, but not all of it. One of the towers along the inner wall, the one known as the Wakefield Tower, used to be part of the palace. In fact, it contained the king's own private rooms. Let's take a look inside, see what we can see. And here you step straight back into the Middle Ages. This beautiful room was built for King Henry III. Now, he always gave very precise instructions about how the rooms in his palaces should be decorated, with paintings of birds and animals and flowers and saints and, of course, kings. Well, sadly, Now, all those paintings and the decoration have vanished long ago. But this is still a magnificent room, and just look up there at that terrific ceiling.